Oh, wow. It almost looks good for the first time. I barely have to adjust this camera. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. Here's the problem. I lost my hearing aid and I can't hear. I can hear myself speaking, but that kind of fucks up with the way I modulate my voice and how I project myself and everything. Plus, it's early in the morning and I have other people that are sleeping in the house. But yeah, no big deal. Um, so, yeah, let me start with this. Let them eat cake. And I don't know why I started to think about this at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it was. I kind of get up at that time. I keep really weird hours, and that's okay because I don't really need to worry about the time or anything like that. When I'm up, I do shit. When I sleep, I rest. And that's pretty much it. But you know, when I first heard the phrase let them eat cake, my first reaction to that was that it really Marie Antoinette's phrase had sort of what's the word that I just had the word in my mouth here. And it's sort of like this the callous indifference to the masses, like, oh, why would I even give a fuck? Let them eat cake, you know. And actually, then the other phrase that I kind of sort of wasn't sure I understood entirely was you can't have your cake and eat it too. And basically, what that means is that, you know, if you eat the cake is gone. So you just can't have it if you just can't have the cake and eat it at the same time. It's an impossible thing. Or along the lines of, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, of course it does. Um, and it so let them eat cake. So I started to look at it in a different light. And really, to me, now it's sort of like, you know what? Let the fucking masses do whatever they want to fucking do, because that is going to serve our purposes much, much, much better. We're going to be able to control them a lot easier because if you stop and think about it, okay, freedom to do whatever the fuck you want is just not a real system. And that's why you have the libertarians saying, no government rule, because, but freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, you can fall flat on your face when you do that. And people do. Right now, people do whatever they fuck they want, and they are, unhealthily overweight and obese. I was. Whenever I say these things, it's like the one thing that I want to kind of come across, or it's I have been there. I have done this shit. I am guilty, but that doesn't mean I have to sort of, self-flagellate all the time and punish myself for having been a bad person. As long as I fucking know and wake up and do the shit that I need to do, then, fuck that shit. I'm already here. I'm doing things. I'm trying to be better. And trying to be better is very tricky. Well, first of all, I mean, you are no good to anyone if you're shit. If you're fucked up, if you're pathetic, if you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're unhealthy in any way, you don't do anybody any service. You do them more a disservice by being fucked up. So, the first thing that's important is get your shit together. That's what I've tried to do, get my shit together. And I'm telling you what, it's a real fun feeling. And I'm not bored by not doing the crap that they try to sell you as entertainment. Now there's some good entertainment out there. Uh, every now and then I was just watching just for a little bit Better Call Saul. What a great show, the way it's put together and the acting and the director and the photography and everything. I mean, it's just such a monumental work of art in my mind, but Yeah, I'm not gonna spend all my time watching it. Whenever I do, whatever, I can't even watch a full episode anymore. I can watch like 15 minutes, like, wow, wow, this is cool, this is really cool. And then I stop and I go on and do other things. Does that mean I'm, have an attention deficit disorder or some shit like that? No. It just means that I have shit that other shit that I want to do. And I don't enjoy necessarily just being a sponge that is absorbing all this information. I have spent almost my entire life being a receptor. In other words, receiving information, being open to information, looking at shit, going places, doing things, and doing bad things, doing good things. A lot of it was just kind of, but it wasn't really sort of purposeful. It really didn't have I didn't have restraints. I didn't have the guardrails that kind of keep me in line. And maybe that was a good thing. Maybe that was a bad thing. I don't know. I haven't decided yet on that. So the whole thing, I think it's important to sort of, give ourselves some minor pleasures every now and then, but really, most of the time there's really work to be done. But the work that needs to be done is not the work that needs to be done you know for a boss or somebody that wants to fucking demean me by offering me low pay to do shit that really has more value than and they profit more off of it. That's not what work is. Work is really sort of getting down and dirty and talking with people and sort of exchanging ideas and trying to reach a consensus on what are the things that are important and what are the things that are not important. You know, um, this is a you know we are our own oppressors. We actually feed our oppressors. We feed our masters. It's why do we do this shit? It's because, well, like I said before, I mean, we're actually, I didn't say we're animals. Let me take it. We are domesticated animals. Domesticated animals. Think about what a domesticated animal is and what the purpose of the domesticated animal is. It's to get more out of it. You get more out of the domesticated animal. You don't get as much out of the feral animal, the animal that is running loose, unrestrained. Fuck. How the fuck am I going to get any value of that out of that unrestrained animal? Well, hey, you got to work for it. You got to work for it. That is, you know, we are so far removed from our true nature, and we you know I hate the fact I was, I'm still politically involved. It doesn't mean, but it's a very difficult thing because I can all these emails for all the shit that I've signed up. They want to say, "Oh, we've picked you. You're a special person to answer our survey." And of course, if I answer the survey, can you chip in? It's like, "Oh, you won't believe Marco Rubio just spit out his water. Oh my goodness. Oh, let me check that out. Oh, he spit out his water. Let me make him spit out. Let me throw some money at you so you can make him spit out some more water." Just, anything. Oh, Liz Cheney, can you pat her on the back and tell her what a great American she is, and chip in. It's all about money because we monetize everything. Just to be clear here, I don't give a shit about what I'm doing right here. I don't need to monetize this. I'm doing it for fucking free. Okay? I mean, I'll figure shit out somehow. But whether you stay, whether you subscribe, it's all meaningless to me. I can This is entertainment for me, and if you get something out of it, I'm fucking pleased as fuck. If you don't, hey, so be it. It's not going to stop me from doing the shit that I want to do. You know, so there's that. This time I do have my coffee with me. Let me take a slight reach over here. Boop, 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 boop. And mm, yeah. And coffee's, it's not that, not big of a deal for me. But just think about all the shit that we do that kind of feeds the people that we complain about. You know, I mean the corporate restaurants. Okay, well we go to them and we want to. All of this is because you know we think that the most important thing in our life is that we should be able to indulge, we should be able to feed our indulgences, and those indulgences can be food, they can be sex, it can be power, basically the sins, the seven basic sins are kind of. And sin, and this is not to make this religious, because religion is really toxic, it's really nonsense. Anytime they try to make any of this shit metaphysical, it's it's useless. It really is, because at the end of the day, it just turns into this method of control. And I say, you do have to have some guardrails, yes, but you do not have to have authoritarian control. If I can explain to somebody nicely why it's nice to do something, that might go over much better than if I say you have to do this. you know if I want to stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag, I guess that's my option. But uh, I don't see anything to gain from it, especially if there's nothing to gain from it. Here, let me give you a good definition of stupidity. Stupidity is basically the act of doing something that really provides you with no intrinsic rewards. It's not rewarding. And so if you're doing something that really that damages you, because obviously if you're, just putting garbage in your mouth, and then all of a sudden you have digestion problems, you start to develop diabetes, all this shit because you just want to be able to please yourself. And sadly enough, there are people who say, you know what, if I died 10 years earlier, that's okay as long as I can do the shit that I like. How sad, you know? And is religion at fault for that? For making people believe that there's something later on? Look, at the end, you know, whether there is or something, it doesn't matter, because the only thing that matters is what's going on now, you know? I mean, we should learn from the past, and but I don't think we need to dig deep. The answers are all there. The answers are all there. The answers are very simple. They do say that that's the one thing I've learned as a presenter. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. You want to keep shit as simple as possible. So, they have this Bible with all these words on them, and dig into the Bible. And they spend their entire life in the Bible. Fuck, man, the message is really simple. You know, People are toxic as fuck. You can read it throughout the Bible. People are toxic as fuck. And there's just a few people that are actually not as toxic as fuck and actually give a fuck, and they try to do shit about things. And the only way they try to do that is by basically being, good people. The golden rule. Hey, don't do shit to other people you don't want done to yourself. You know, and you really have to think about that process. Life is all about balance. You take care of yourself, you take care of others. You don't have to give one more over the other. You try to maintain a healthy balance between the two. If one tries to impose on you more than necessary, you take away from it, you push it back. And if you're giving too much, you pull back. If you're giving to the point where you're suffering, you're an idiot. That's not what you're meant to do. You're meant to be happy. You're not meant to suffer while you help others either. You have to do it in goodwill, with energy, and being there and being ready. you know this uh, Everybody, most of the people in this country are duped, and this is red and blue, because the answer to our problems is not just voting for another person that's going to try to regulate shit, because you see they hardly can get shit done. That's the nature of the politics, because what this politician is just a person that represents a group of people. So if we're talking about Lauren Boebert, we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're talking about Joe Manchin, or we're talking about anything. These are people that just answer to the people that support them. They don't answer to anybody else. They don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. And so that's the tug of war, that we have to experience. Right now, I mean, the biggest fucking, egregious bullshit is the fact that we spend almost $1 trillion in our defense system, you know, in our US national defense. Why? Why? Because these are crazy fucks, because they're paranoid fucks, you know and then we just and they teach us this paranoia, and they basically fucking, they want you to be scared of everything. They really do. They want you to be scared of the boogeyman. They want you to be scared of the black man. They want you to be scared of the riots. They want you to be scared of, you know of everything. But when you walk out in the middle of the day, do you see chaos all over the place? No. People are doing their shit. There's no if you're in the wrong place, you're on the wrong time. And again, hey, you have more guns out there, greater the chance you're going to be shot. Bottom line. And why doesn't it make sense that we have a gun problem in a country that basically, glorifies violence? That's what we do. We glorify violence. We actually say that God is our drives this country, and so that we are justified in whatever the fuck we do, wherever the fuck we go. That's fucked up. That is incredibly fucked up, you know? Uh, really, the best government is the local government, and where you try to take care of shit, and you can't just let the people that have more fucking control things, because they don't do things in the interest of everybody. They always do things in their own interests. You know, there's I just saw on Facebook, this fucking, I don't spend a lot of time on this stuff. I had been, I had at one point been sort of, dug in and kind of, freaking out, or having this kind of, you know obsessive behavior with the social media. I said, fuck it. I got rid of all my friends. It doesn't mean they're not my friends, but it's not. It's just like, I'm not going to let friends control me and who I am. What my friends think of me. If you need to think something of me that, is disagreeable, or that I may not like, or whatever, you can keep it to yourself. I mean, if you want, and if you say it to me, I'll say fuck you. It's real simple. You know, why would I want to be criticized by anybody? I don't. Why would I want to be mocked by you? I don't. You know, at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to cower into a corner and try to be like everybody else to fit in, so nobody, and try to have everybody love me. It's not necessary. I don't need everybody to love me, as long as just a few people that really kind of know me a little bit better and kind of understand my crazy ways, that's good enough for me. You know, I don't need fucking toxic shit in my life, so I'm maybe getting a little off point, but not really. Kind of going back to the cake, you know. So we have this idea of democracy, and sort of freedom for all, but we can't have freedom for all without infringing on other people's freedom. So we have to sort of create these lanes, and these lanes should be based on respect. They shouldn't be based on, artificial, like, materialistic type of desires or anything like that. Do I have things? Yeah, I have things. But you should see all the shit I got rid of. Besides the fucking weight that I carried on my body. It's kind of trying to narrow stuff down. That's part of the fact that I still have things, is that because I kind of want to try to dispose of it responsibly, or as best of responsibly I can. Yeah. Hey, you want to make fun of me because I think that way? Fuck you. That's the way I think. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to be, you know, uh, uh, it's just, my feelings aren't going to be hurt because you're an asshole. That's, in fact, maybe your feelings will be hurt because I do call you an asshole. That's a different story. But, all the shit, we eat crappy food, garbage, all the time, all the time, you know. We go and work in crappy places, and take 'em. Restaurants are like the most fucking toxic place that I can think of in many respects, because number one, servers are not paid, a minimum wage. They're paid less than minimum wage, and they depend on the mercy of the people that are being served. How ugh, that's like I'm trying to pretend I'm an aristocrat, and you're a slave, and if you do a good job, I will give you your pittance. Fuck that shit. You know, I had enough of it. I used to work in 15 years in the restaurant industry. I've done. I started mopping the floors after the place closed. A Greasy Spoon. The Greasy Spoon had a pyramid, or what they called the pyramid room. There was a room in the upstairs. And the reason it was called the pyramid room was because as you went up the stairs, they had a picture of a pyramid, and then, or something like that. And then actually, this is one of the few, if not the only place, I thought it was kind of cool. I had a dumbwaiter, which they basically the cook on the first floor, which is normally where I work. He would we would prepare the plates that of the orders that would come down to shoot, and then we would load the plates onto the dumbwaiter, and they would be out and served. This only happened at lunchtime because at lunchtime, of course, the larger crowd came in, and we had to open up the space. But I've done all kinds, from mopping up the floors to being a dishwasher, being a prep cook, to being an expediter and a line cook. I never really kind of got into the waiter thing ever, probably because of my hearing more than anything. But then, all kinds of restaurants, all kinds of different qualities of food. 24-hour diners in New York City, and cafes and college towns or bistros. And, you know, I got fired from a bagel shop in Houston after one night. Man, that was hard making bagels. I burnt my arm a lot. I didn't like that. But anyway, again, so let them eat cake means, let them get distracted. Give them the fucking cake. Give them the fucking shit that we like. Let them go hog wild with that crap, and that's what we do. We go hog wild with that crap. Sports, it's good to play sports. It's not good to watch sports. Unless it's you're a parent and your kids playing or something like that on the field, but trying and just always sort of amping up these tribal uh instincts. And it's like pitting one against the other, and that makes it really clear that we're really just animals. Chimps have tribes, dogs have packs, you know wolves have social animals have these organizations and alpha males and all this other shit, which is the same shit that we do, you know? Um, another interesting thing is that the difference between the two religions with, Christianity and the Jewish religion. What I noticed, because I was invited once to a synagogue for a bar mitzvah, my boss's son, and I was actually struck by the ceremony, or I don't even call it the ceremony. I don't even know what to call it, because it was just kind of being there in the synagogue and listening to some people do some stuff. And the sermons, or the talk, because it didn't really sound like a sermon. It just kind of sounded like a matter of fact type of thing. It focused on how we take, we look at our neighbors and we try to take care of our brothers, and should, if we have a little bit more, we try to share, blah blah blah. There's no like effigy that we idolize, or we kind of do things. Now they still have rituals and stuff, and there is a bit of blah to it, but you know it's a lot more loosey goosey than the Christian or Catholic religion in particular. And I had a stepsister one time that was a holy roller, and I kind of paid attention to her for a little bit. There's another kid that he invited me to this session, and they put me. It was so weird. They put me in this dark room, and then they started talk to me about God and Jesus, and do you see the light? And what actually was is that they were opening the door a little bit to let the light from the outside come in. You know, I've always, I think that most of us are. that most of us question the things that we see, you know, and the words that we hear, and the fact that they don't always align. But some of us might just kind of question it a little bit more than to go along with it, and it does depend on how much we're exposed to it. So, I mean, if we have fucking evil parents that make us fucking kneel and pray to this imaginary bullshit, every fucking day. Man, that's some toxic stuff. I mean, our brains are gonna be different from the person that says, you survived another day, and each day that you have is basically it's really a fucking cool thing. And so when you wake up, just be glad that you're up. Take advantage, seize the day, fucking do as much shit as you can that makes you happy and helps others. And then when you get tired, just call it a day and fucking hope that you wake up again to be able to do it again because we never know if that's going to happen or not. You know, I had one relative, who died in his sleep. Pretty much, he just went, never expected or anything like that, but he was full of life, a wonderful person. I loved him. My uncle was my mom's cousin. Technically here in the States, we kind of refer to our parents' cousins or our cousins too. But in Latin American culture, we kind of if they're elders and stuff, and they're my parents' cousins were always my aunts and uncles. And it's kind of funny because I have some that are like 5 or 6 years older than me, and I still call him uncle. But it's almost in jest at this point. Giving him shit is too much. But I'm gonna go here on 30 minutes. Let them eat cake. So the thing is that again, we're animals. Is there some element of human? Absolutely. I mean, we there is a part of it is that kind of recognizes this fucking opportunity we have, and some of it just fucking don't want to see it or aren't sure or insecure or. I mean, you got to do shit to build your strength. You really do. And for me, what it was first walking, which was the only way I could do it because I was obese and fat. So all I could do was walk. You don't need gyms. We overcomplicate things again. Was keep it simple. We don't need special diets or blah 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 blah. All we need to do is just control. Exercise some self control. You know, I don't have a cell phone anymore. I don't give a shit about a cell phone. I have a tablet. And the tablet gets a connection, whenever I have a Wi-Fi, but I'm not paying somebody to give me, a signal so anybody can call me anytime. Why do I want that? If my boss wants me to have a phone, then they can get me my phone. They can pay for it because otherwise I'll just work the schedule. And you know what? Since I'm on the subject, there is no fucking reason to work 40 hours. None. And we accept it. We accept it. I'm gonna be posting some more examples of how easily we're manipulated into doing shit that is not in our best interest. And when we allow ourselves to be manipulated into doing things that are not into our self-interest, that's being stupid. That's just being stupid. So do you really want to have your cake and eat it too? Well, it's impossible. Do you really want to eat cake? Maybe a little bit. Rather big cake get shared with a lot of people than me hog the whole fucking cake for myself, right? So again, I do shit differently. People freak out. It's their problem. It's not mine. You know, when I start making it my problem, then I stop being me. And I don't want to stop being me. I really like me. What can I say? Is that narcissistic? Sure. But there's not. It's all about balance. Balance. Trying to find the right balance, between self-love and other love, and the environment, and what's happening outside and what's happening inside. Just trying to find the happy medium. It's not an easy thing, and it takes work, but that's okay because what else do we have to fucking do? You know, the work week shouldn't be more than 4 hours a day, and kids shouldn't be spending their entire time in school. They should be going outside and playing and doing things, and having these games and blah blah blah. We are fucking obeying the master. When are you going to stop? Just think about it. You stay safe out there, okay? And just don't be an idiot.